Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here in June. A very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. And welcome to Monday's edition of the DCEU Daily. Right, today we're talking Wonder Woman versus Captain Marvel because there's no DCEU updates to talk about. And I thought, what should I talk about today? And I thought, let's bring it back to Wonder Woman versus Captain Marvel. And I think these two films are very, very important in their own way to represent good representation in a great movie and bad representation in a very average movie. Now, isn't it interesting? I think we all know which movie I prefer, and obviously it's Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is not just a great movie, it's a classic movie. It's a movie you can watch again and again. It's a film that your daughters and your husbands and your children can all, watch together. It's a beautiful film. Captain Marvel really isn't a movie in any sense of the word. It's part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It continues that kind of arc around, but the truth of the matter is, if you're looking for good female representation, you will not find it in the MCU. You see, Kevin Feige wants to look like he's representing minorities and people of colour and the LGBT community and females, but this is a man who doesn't even trust Scarlett Johansson to lead her own movie. So please don't tell me that this man believes in female-led movies, because he doesn't. And isn't it interesting, with all the problems within the DCEU, all the mistakes made with the lack of leadership and all of that, not only did they give us quite a few good movies in their early stages, Batman v Superman, Man of Steel, Suicide Squad is a good film, as far as I'm concerned. Wonder Woman is a great film. Justice League is a mess, but we don't need to talk about that right now. But what's interesting for me, that because at that time when Wonder Woman was released, the DCEU was a very divisive franchise, and lots of negativity within the media about the franchise. But then this film Wonder Woman comes out, and you see how beautiful and amazing this film is. This film has got a lot of soul and a lot of emotion. Everything that Captain Marvel hasn't got. For some reason, I hate the term SJW, and I use it a lot, but I have to, because I think we all understand what SJW means. Even though SJWs say, I don't know why I'm called an SJW, I don't even know what that means. It's a non-term. No, it's a great term. Please don't start going on what's non and what's not. You've done enough of that, SJWs. But anyway, right, when you look at it, that Captain Marvel is it really is not just a far left film, a far left film. So if you question who I am politically, I'd say centre left. And I have a lot of friends who are moderate left rights, and I think if we actually the centrists just were together, we could really have a better world, because these extremists on either side are clouding the issue. And I don't know about you, but you've probably noticed how political movie critics are now. Scott Mendelson is so political, it's scary, and he is on the far left. He's scary. So Captain Marvel is a far left SJW film, and you can tell. You can tell from the very off, they do not want her to smile. Now, this whole smiling thing is the most pathetic thing, and to make it an issue within a film shows you what kind of people are running Disney and running Marvel and have no idea about good representation, but they think they are. So they did this whole thing about smiling, about someone telling her to smile and her getting one up on the person who told her to smile. It was pathetic. It was pathetic. Basically, if my friends had been working on that film, I would have had to say, do you know what? Guys, girls, this is stupid. This isn't good. I would have said, go watch Wonder Woman. Go and watch Wonder Woman. Don't copy. Copy the spirit and the feeling of Wonder Woman. Come up with your own thing and your own story. But if you copy the spirit and the feeling and the soul of Wonder Woman, then you're going to have a great female-led movie. But Wonder Woman had to be more than a female-led movie, because Wonder Woman is an icon. And not just for women, for men. Maybe more men than women. She's a freaking icon. She's amazing. Just like Superman, she kept the soldiers in the Second World War going through her comic book adventures. She is a legacy. She is a legend. And Captain Marvel isn't. That's the truth. That's the truth. Kevin Feige was telling us, basically, he was telling the mainstream audience who have never read a Captain Marvel or a Marvel comic book in their lives, right, that she's very important and very relevant in the comics. She's not. Basically, they've had to reboot her again and again and again and again and again because nobody really likes her. She's a boring, dull character, and they've really feminized her now in the Marvel comics as well. And I didn't know that by reading the comics. I wouldn't do that to myself. It's only from seeing videos from other people and being educated. And I think it is important to educate yourself. So she isn't Wonder Woman. And I think Faye really wanted to fool everyone into making them think that Captain Marvel was just as relevant and as iconic and legendary as Wonder Woman. That's not the case. But even if that was the case, it doesn't matter if she's a legendary figure. They still could have made a great movie, but they didn't. They decided to use politics and an anti-male agenda, and that's a shame. When you hear Clark Gregg slagging people off who criticise Brie Larson, it's interesting to me. We're just sexist, we're just racist. We could just be dismissed. Well, we can't be dismissed because the men and the women and the girls and the boys who were all saying negative things about Brie Larson were saying them for a reason. This was another distinct difference between Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel. It was the marketing push. So you have Brie Larson, and I never heard a dicky bird really from the creatives or the directors. It was all Brie Larson. With the marketing, she was saying some dumb things. And again, if I was a friend of hers, I'd say, Brie, why are you saying this? And she would have said, listen, Disney are telling me to say this. And I think that was the thing. Disney made a mistake here. Now, I don't know if Captain Marvel truly made just over $1 billion or it's the biggest of lies and secretly it's a flop. We will never know. Probably it did make that money because there was a lot of excitement for Endgame and people thought they were going to get big clues for that movie. And all they got was a crap post-credit scene saying, where's Fury? Yep, that's the MCU, everyone, leading you to think there's something more than they actually are. And they've been doing it for over 10 years now and you're still falling for it. Wake up. Open your eyes. So now over at the Wonder Woman side, you had Gal Gadot, right, and the director, right, Patty Jenkins, coming out saying Wonder Woman's for everyone with positivity and love. And everyone felt like they'd be welcome to go and see this movie. Now, well, this is another thing about Captain Marvel. You didn't really feel that. You didn't really think that the people who made the film and the person who starred in the film wanted you to go and watch it if you were a man. That's the impression I got. It was like, we don't like men. That's the impression I got. And I think that's the impression that many men and boys got. Well, you're not really welcome to see this film. This film isn't for you. Do you remember when Brie Larson said that, right? Remember about another film, right? About that Ava DuVernay film, right? Every killing time. That film isn't for white male critics in their 40s. Do you remember when she said that? Some of the nonsense she was saying. The reason people didn't like it, and it wasn't just white male critics in their 40s, but of course she had to say that. This is what extreme left people say. This is what SJWs do. They come up with a fictional response to something and they try and turn it into a fact. And the truth is that film was a TV movie on the cinema screen. It was okay, it wasn't terrible, but it certainly wasn't worth paying 10 or 15 euros or dollars or whatever the currency that you use. But the distinct difference between Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot and the way they conducted themselves, and then when you go and see the movie, you've got someone like Chris Pine in this movie. It's very interesting, actually, because you've got Chris Pine in Wonder Woman and you've got Jude Law in Captain Marvel, which I think is very, very interesting and very, very telling, because Jude Law is very good in Captain Marvel. He may be the best thing about the film. I actually think Brie did a good job with Captain Marvel, and I don't think it's a terrible film, and there's elements of that film I really, really did enjoy. I just think they could have crafted it a lot better, and it could have been a really interesting movie. I actually think the flashbacks to her, on the planet, actually took something from the film. They wanted to kind of make her a bit of a mystery, and I don't think that worked at all. By the way, I think and the relationship with her friend as well. We didn't see that. We didn't see that develop. So it was really hard to believe in her friendship. But with Wonder Woman, it's all there. You see her in Themyscira. She leaves Themyscira. She meets Steve Trevor. She leaves. She's looking for Ares. Look, you know what the film is. And the film is doing something that's never been done before. There's a lot of takes from Richard Donner's Superman the movie, of course. That's obvious. There's a big love heart to that film in this film. But Patty's making her own movie. And she creates a Wonder Woman, not only from the comics, but a Wonder Woman all of her own. Wonder Woman is about love. Wonder Woman is about acceptance. And Wonder Woman is for everyone. But what the makers and the star of Captain Marvel said was, this film isn't for everyone. We've got a lot of hate and bitterness in our hearts because men haven't treated women in the past million years. Men haven't treated women very well. And so we want to get revenge on men. We hate men, and we're going to keep on going on about this, and we're going to go on about representation. But Captain Marvel is an example of how not to make a film, how not to market a film, and how not to do a film. And Wonder Woman is the example of how to make a movie, how to market a movie. Wonder Woman was the perfect storm. And even though Justice League had its problems, and apart from the despicable upskirt shots that Joss Whedon did with Gal, and I thought they were very disrespectful, and I wasn't impressed by that at all. But apart from that, the stuff that Wonder Woman has to do in Justice League is pretty awesome. The dynamic between her and Bruce Wayne, I thought her and Ben Affleck were brilliant together. And I just think she's a great Wonder Woman. And Gal Gadot's a great person anyway. She's got great qualities. She's very respectful of everyone, not just women. And I think she wants to, she just wants to show to love. I saw a picture of her holding a young boy dressed up as Superman. That's probably sacrilege to someone at Disney and the MCU. If you're a woman, you should only be holding little girls, right? And here's the problem. That's what's going on right now. I think with Joker movie, that's going to quash it now. Because I think that is going to kill SJW filmmaking at least. I mean, they're still going to go off on one on Twitter. I mean, the SJWs hate Joker, and that's what makes Joker even better. Joker's an amazing film, but what makes it even more exciting is that SJWs hate it, and it's really hurting them. I mean, the Venice Film Festival is the biggest thing. It's bigger than TIFF. I've said this. It's bigger than the Toronto Film Festival, right? They gave Taika Waititi's movie the People's Choice Award there because they're the woke awards. Let's just call them the woke awards, right? But the Venice Film Festival is the pinnacle. Winning the Golden Lion is the pinnacle for an actor and a filmmaker, right? And people who make films. And Joker movie won that. So the Toronto Film Festival is nothing compared to Venice. So well done, Joker, for winning the award that matters. So basically, just going back and finishing off my chat about Wonder Woman versus Captain Marvel. Wonder Woman is a classic movie. It's up there with Superman the movie. It's up there with Star Wars: A New Hope. It's up there with the greatest movies ever made because it was made with soul, love, and acceptance of everyone. It wasn't a film filled with hate in its heart. And that's the difference between Captain Marvel and Wonder Woman. Captain Marvel makes the film with the thought, we hate men, we hate men, we hate men. And Wonder Woman has the thought while they're making the film of, we love everybody.